Alright everybody, it's time to talk about Weekly Shonen Jump 2026 issue number 39. We are back. And One Piece, of course, takes the cover. This pretty much always happens after an off week, so no surprise there. And we have a cool illustration of Luffy as like a king, because I think this is celebrating the top 100 popularity poll that just happened, where, of course, Luffy won. Shocker. The results of the popularity poll are pretty typical, like pretty much exactly what you would expect through all the top 30, which are the important ones. But funnily enough, Charlotte Cracker placed in 21st place. And I believe this is solely because of one guy in Japan who spent like $20,000 or something to submit a ton of votes for the character. Insane to me, but right on, man, you do you. Also, some more One Piece related news due to One Piece Day this year, where we got the reveal of 2 new movies that will be releasing. One of them in 2027, which is about God Valley, and the second in 2029, which is called Bad, with 2 A's, B-A-A-D, like the band that did the Slam Dunk opening. Can't imagine there's any correlation between those two things, but you never know. And the only other piece of news that I think is worth talking about this week is the fact that Kinato's magic abruptly ended this week. It's over. It's just done. I can't imagine how this will end in one chapter, but I guess we'll find out later. And we do have a new series starting next week, which is part of a batch of 2 new series. The first series, which is the one starting next week, is called Ura no Report, which is by an artist-writer duo, the writer being Shun Numa, who did Super Psychic Policeman Chojo recently, and the artist being Yushin Kuroki, who did Teenage Renaissance David, which is another. These are 2 axed mangaka coming together to see if they can make a hit with their combined efforts. It actually might be the other way around on the art and writer duo. No, I don't think it is. I don't know. One of the 2 combinations. We'll talk about it next week, I guess. And the other series starting the following week will be Gray Keys no Makai Goya Kuroku by Natsuki Hokami, who did Hell Warden Higuma, which was a pretty well-liked manga, I believe. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to have some fresh series in the magazine. It's been a minute since we've had new editions, so I'm all for it. But all right, we have a big issue to talk about. We got a full lineup plus a Promised Neverland one-shot, so let us dive in. One Piece Chapter 1191, There's Still Loki. Very, very fun color spread this week. I really enjoy this one. I love all the wigs and the fun colors and just like the funky 70s, 80s vibe. It's really, really cool. Big fan of this one. And as for the chapter, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, to be honest. I really enjoyed it, but there's just not a whole lot of talking points, I don't think. I think a Scopper, or as I've come to realize that most people call him like Gabon or Gabon, his first name. I cannot get used to that because, for one, it's a weird ass name and I'm not even exactly sure how to say it. Is it Gabon, Gabon? I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I've just always called him Scopper for so damn long. And now, like, yeah, he's a part of the story and typically you refer to people by their first name, but I've just, in my head, I personally have always called him Scopper before he was reintroduced in Elbaf. So I struggle with that, but whatever. Nobody really corrects me. I've just noticed in the comments everybody calls him by his first name. I'm gonna keep saying Scopper though, sorry. But I find his attitude towards Luffy really interesting because he's not really like letting it seem like he's exaggerating. I think he probably is. I don't think he really has given up faith in Luffy. Actually, we know he hasn't because he admitted that internally last chapter, but he is being very outwardly dismissive towards him, which I think is very interesting. I'm not really sure what his aim is in that regard, but it's interesting. Get a new form of Emu here where he looks more like, I don't know, older, bigger. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not really sure why he gets a form change already when we just were introduced to the character, but it's probably related to his powers, which we really know nothing about. And Haruden shows up, and we also get Loki coming back, and a whole nice little combo attack with the 2 of them and Luffy, which is really cool. I don't know what to expect from Haruden here. Like, I feel like he's several tiers below all the people involved in this fight, strength-wise, but hey, I'm no power scaler, so I'm open to seeing him do something. He did blast Emu away, which is a hell of a lot more than I thought he could accomplish. So good on him. Good job, Harden. Proud of you. Cool chapter. We're off next week, so that's unfortunate, but hey, we'll be back with, probably the final few chapters of the arc. I imagine we're getting pretty damn close. I have to assume like 10-ish chapters left of the arc, maybe, unless we do a 3rd flashback. God forbid. But I feel like we're getting there. There can't be much more left. My heart's a stereo, it beats for you. Someone Hertz Chapter 46, The Night Before. Another cute chapter for the books. It's not too substantial, I don't think, because I mean, as the title even says, it's just kind of the night before the big thing. We're about to head into the school festival, which I think will be fun. I really don't know what to expect from it. Like, I'm not going to be like a theory crafter for Someone Hurts, but I really don't see what kind of big event could occur at a school festival in this series. Like, it's not going to be a confession. And usually in romance series, the school festival is like, you have like a big romance development. Like, something big happens that pushes the two characters closer together. Here, we've had so many moments like that already that I don't know what the thing could be to like push them together even more. I mean, I feel like this is just such a strange case of a romance series where the two characters are already, like from chapter 1 basically, so close it feels like they are dating. But I don't know, I'm sure it'll surprise me in some regard. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, this chapter, I don't know, it was cute. There was some cute moments, just the little moment with them in the like the podcast radio booth or whatever. That was nice. I enjoyed that, and just her thanking him for this past year. Really sweet. Not much more to say other than that, but the coming chapters I think will be a lot of fun. So looking forward to it.
Get this man a gun.
Sakamoto Days, Chapter 272, The Ultimate Assassin. Yeah, it's just more of the same. We just have a bunch of action, which looks really nice. Everybody's playing their part, doing their thing, and it's just kind of the slow reveal on Nagumo's end, who is our POV character right now, that Uzuki is a problem. He's basically become, as the title says, the ultimate assassin, because he's essentially a fusion of Sakamoto and Akao, who are like two of the most prolific assassins ever. So he's definitely a problem. And yeah, other than that and all the action scenes, we just get a little bit at the end here with Sakamoto being alive. Shocker. And I do like how we have the return of this, the gag where Shin will see like a vision of Sakamoto killing him. I think that's fun. Curious to see what the explanation for this is, though. I really cannot imagine how he lives this, but we'll find out soon, I guess. We're definitely nearing the end. I'm guessing we got like at most 5 chapters left. It's very, very close. Good stuff though. Looking forward to more. Shinobi Undercover, Chapter 94, Enhanced Humans. Well, we have some fun new characters with some fun powers. And the introduction of, exactly as the title says, Enhanced Humans, which is an interesting thing to bring into the mix. Embedding kekais into people is a fun concept. I wonder if they can like trade. Like, can they like rip out their implant and give it to another person, like trading Pokemon cards during recess? I hope so. I think that'd be fun. Anyways, Suzume, come on now. This is peak. This is so cool. I assume this is her Kekai. I suppose it could be something else. Like maybe she just has some strange genetic thing where she can grow spikes from her body. But I am pretty confident this is her Kekai. And this is awesome. I love the reveal where they just like come out of her back and stab the people when they're least expecting anything to happen. I mean, her back's turned. What the hell's gonna happen? This is so cool. I am in love with this. It's so, so rad. It's also looking like we're setting up for an Umineko fight too with that boxing girl, which is fun. I think that'll be a good time. And shout out to the series for not doing the tropey, like girl on girl, guy on guy matchups. I think it's rather just going for what will be the more fun matchup of the power sets involved. I'm excited for this. This is really, really cool. I've been excited to see something like this for Suzume for a while. Obviously, she's been a very standout character from the beginning, but I feel like she hasn't had like a big moment to shine. Yeah, that's not true, but not to this caliber. Like this is like her moment. She's moving up to the next level with this one. Only complaint is I really want to get back to the Aoi plot line going on. We're kind of knee deep in serious stuff right now. I want to circle back to the other stuff and see what's going on there, but we'll get there, I suppose. But anyway, yeah, this is awesome. Witch Watch Chapter 259, Bone Crisis Part 28. I wish I could say that I care about anything that's happening, but I just truly don't. The only thing I can say, and I say this every damn week about this fight, is that I think it's cool to see all of our main characters fighting together. That is it. And now it's trying to do like the classic shonen battle thing where like an older character comes back in to save the day at the last minute. Whoa, and it's Ron. Yeah. Who does anybody care? Let's be honest here. Does anybody really give a shit about this? I certainly don't. I don't know. It's an okay chapter. I'm unfortunately just really at the point now where I want to see Bone Crisis end. I'm getting a little fatigued, and especially with this fight that I cannot bring myself to care about. I'm ready to move on to the end of the series. This is just not doing much for me anymore. Not to say that it can't ever. We may have some kind of development in this fight that will get me back on board, but I'm not counting on it. Especially not after trying to sell Ron coming back as like a big moment, because holy cow, I don't care. Ichi the Witch, Chapter 95. About. Well, to be honest, I'm a little disappointed about this Gokuraku stuff at the beginning. He just gets his ass beat. I mean, yeah, he makes an opening, but he also gets his fake arms ripped off and is going to be essentially useless. And also a leg. So I don't really foresee him doing anything else for this arc. That sucks. We just started and already Gokuraku's out of the picture. Damn. Okay, whatever. Maybe somehow, some way he'll come back into the mix for this one, but I don't know how. Anyways, we learn about Hikari here, how he's the deconstruction magic, and we gotta find these 3 pieces of a little orb to acquire him. So now we have a fun thing, which I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out, where we gotta deal with the constant threat of this guy chasing us while finding these 3 pieces of a fragmented object. This is cool as hell. I actually really like the concept for this. We'll have to see if the execution lives up to match it, but I think it sounds really fun on paper. And it's looking like, you know, presumably we're gonna have Destroyerz kind of holding them off while everybody else goes and looks for the pieces, but I can't be positive about that. She could also assist in the search, but I don't know. I'm thinking that'll be the structure that we go with. Yeah, really cool stuff.
What are you doing, step bro?
Newest Exorcist, Chapter 158. Is there a girl you like? I don't know. I have nothing to say about this chapter. It's fine. I thought the art was nice, and I'm glad to see that this fight is finally over. I really have nothing to say about this chapter. I thought the art was cool, but I'm really bummed that the fight is over, and Shitotsu had literally nothing to do with how the fight ended, unless you count the line about, is there a girl you like? And if that's referring to her, then good lord. We got problems, but we're not going to get into that. I don't know. I'm a little bummed that this is how the fight ends. I don't know. I liked that we were getting a cool team fight with Shitotsu, but she really had nothing to do with the ending to the fight. She should have had a moment. I mean, she had a moment, I guess, but it wasn't as substantial as I would have liked it to be. I don't know. Whatever. It's over. Let's just see where the series goes from here. I'm looking forward to being in new territory.
He did the monster mash.
Roku's House of Oddities, Chapter 19. Charge! Stuff happens at Akari's house. This was a really, really nice chapter. I just like having this whole little party going on with the kids from school involved. And I still don't feel anything in particular towards these school friend characters. They're just very one note and not exciting. But I like the narrative purpose they have. I can't say that's more important than liking them as characters, but at least I'm on board with half of their existence, you know? I can understand why they're here and what kind of role they will serve going forward. Because, I mean, them being involved here made this for a very fun chapter. I had a blast with this chapter, and it's because they were there. It's not because of their characterization, but because they were there. It made the concept of this chapter just hit harder. Very fun, a lot of cute moments, just playing games, having a barbecue or a cookout, whatever it was. There's a little bit of intrigue here about like Roku's past with his parents and whatnot, because he like hints at something tragic having happened, which, you know, we know a little bit about, but not the full details. So we could be gearing up to learn more about what exactly happened to his parents and why, you know, he was living with his grandma and all that, and I mean, maybe even why his grandma is in the hospital. If there is a reason for that, it could just be because she's old. I don't know. Great chapter. Loved it. Akane-banashi Chapter 219, Singular. Oh man, guys, this is a really good one. I loved this chapter. This does so much for Zensho as a character. The way that the story tells us his whole shtick is perfect. It like sends you on this ride from the beginning of this chapter to the end, where you kind of think you have them figured out, and then they drop the thing at the end. And you're like, oh shit, oh, okay, this is what this is. But the build up to that moment and learning that he kind of dominates his stories to the point where, you know, these new characters are introduced, and I love how this is illustrated, where it's just, you know, a blank slate. That's probably what everybody pictures. We got, okay, so here's this character that's introduced, don't really know who they are yet, but then as their characters become more clear, you develop an image in your head of them. But in this case, they all just turn into Zensho because his personality, his looks, his delivery is so strong that you just only view him when you're imagining these characters. So you just inherently create this comedic world no matter what kind of story he's telling, because he's a funny guy. And then this is all flipped on its head when it's revealed that he doesn't get it. He just has like a passive that this just happens. He's not trying. He's not like some genius in this field. He's actually trying to sell this as a serious story. There's a really funny moment where he's talking about Maikeru's performance and how he looked at his own performance of it and he made himself cry because of his delivery and performance. It's just, that was a really funny moment. And it all kind of comes back around to that human concept of the funniest people in the world are the ones that don't realize that they're funny. That's something I've always heard throughout my life, and something I've even noticed. Like, it's the people that don't laugh at their own jokes. They just kind of say them without even really realizing that they're exactly funny. Those are the funniest people. And that's what Zensho is. He's not really trying to be funny at all. He's actually trying to make this a serious performance, but because of who he is, it's not happening. And that in turn makes it funnier. Whether the audience in the universe realizes it or not doesn't really matter, because to us, we know it, and that just makes it funnier to us. But I'm sure plenty of people in universe realize it too. This was just an awesome chapter. I love this concept and its execution. Fantastic stuff. Really, really strong chapter. Making me appreciate Zensho a lot more, even though I still hate his guts. Me and Roboco Chapter 294, Promised Neverland, and Roboco 2. We have a Promised Neverland themed chapter, I guess, to go with the one-shot that is actually up next in the magazine. Kind of wish the orders were reversed, so I could have been back in that Promised Neverland headspace before I read this, but I guess it's kind of working in the opposite direction now, which is funny. But this was a really good one. It's a very good parody, I will say. I think this is actually a really well done one. And yeah, it's a parody of the first arc, which is, I mean, it's the best part, but it's just funny how anytime Promised Neverland comes up in anything ever, the only thing people can be bothered to talk about is the first arc. It's an amazing arc. It's like one of the best introductory arcs I've ever seen. So I get it. But you know, there is like another 150 chapters to talk about after that. Whatever. You'll get to hear some of my Promised Neverland takes here in a minute, but before that, this was great. I really enjoyed just the concept and seeing these kids figure out how to escape in their own like gag manga ways. Also, something that I thought was really funny is the fact that, you know, they're all dressed in the, you know, Promised Neverland outfits, and Motsuo, he basically already looks like Rei anyway. So it literally just looks like Rei is here, at least in the intro panel where as the hair is covering his face. They kind of drop that after, and Motsuo just looks more like normal Motsuo, but he really looks exactly like Rei in that first panel. Yeah, good stuff. I thought it was funny and satisfying to actually see them escape. And the plan with like the lookalikes with the literal gorilla is really great. I loved it. And you know, Roboco parody chapters are usually pretty solid, but I don't know, something about this one in particular, it really felt like a thoughtfully written parody of a manga. It hits like all the classic writing traits of Promised Neverland in a very thorough and efficient way. Very well done.
What the dog doing?
Promised Neverland special bonus chapter, Undying Blade. Interesting choice to focus on this character. Aishe. I do not know how to say her name, but this is the dog girl. If you read the series, you'll probably remember her. She didn't really do a whole lot, if memory serves. It's been a minute. I remember her, but like, I don't really remember what she did. But what I do remember about her is that she had a story that kind of just dropped off a cliff. Like, she just kind of stopped existing existing after a certain point, and any kind of narrative attention that was ever given to her was just thrown out the window. So it's cool to see us revisit the character. It's just, I'm surprised that we're doing this. I imagine this had to be something that a lot of fans wanted to see or something, so it felt worth it to come back to this story. You know, at its core, I think it's a really nice little story. It's just kind of about learning to live with yourself and accept the new norm, even though you may not be too into the idea of it. But I think, honestly, that could be done very poorly. It could just be about like forcing somebody to accept the new reality. But in this case, it doesn't feel malicious in that way. It's more sweet in its portrayal. And I continue to enjoy the memory wiped Emma. If you haven't read Promised Neverland, I don't know why you're watching this part, but Emma got her memory wiped at the end of the series. So she's in this interesting spot where she's trying to start over, basically. Like she met up with all her friends again. She's with them, but she doesn't remember anything that happened. I assume at this point she's been told about a lot of the things that happened, but she doesn't remember doing them. So that puts us in an interesting spot with something like this, where she's confronted with like an old enemy and she doesn't even really remember them being an enemy. I think that's cool. It's basically an entire chapter of just the two of these characters talking to each other, which is a little bit of a bummer because on these like reunion chapters, I always like to see the whole cast, but we really don't see anybody other than these two. The others are there, like we see Ray and Norman, but they don't really do or say much of anything. A damn shame, but it is what it is, I suppose. Real quick, I guess just to give my thoughts on The Promised Neverland, because I've never talked about it on the channel before. I love the first two arcs a lot, Goldie Pond and the introduction arc. But after that, it's kind of just a slow decline for me, where I don't really care a whole lot about anything that happens. It just goes in a direction that I wasn't into, and it's a little far-fetched and ridiculous for my standards. And the ending, I think, is just silly. My thoughts on all that doesn't really matter in this case. I can just look at this as an isolated thing, and I think it's fine. It plays into the strengths of the series really well. It doesn't really dip into the territory that I'm not too fond of. I guess it kind of does with the whole trying to make your enemies your friends kind of deal that Emma always did, which was hit or miss. I'm not saying that was always a bad thing, but it certainly had its bad moments. This, not so much. I think this was fine. It's just a cute little bonus chapter. I don't think this is anything too substantial, even to like diehard fans. I don't think they're going to be like in love with this. It's nice to have another chapter of the series. And I expect we'll get more, honestly. We've already had 5 of these Promised Neverland bonus chapters, and I don't really see it stopping. It just seems to be a story that the writer and artist want to revisit a lot. And as long as Shueisha keeps letting them do it, I'm down to read more. They're cool. Hunter x Hunter Chapter 418, Hypothesis. Peak. We have a whole chapter focused on Seridnich. I was wondering what his plan was, and now we know most of it. I guess we don't know the intricate details, but we don't know the long term of it. What is his end game? That's something we still have yet to properly understand. But what we do know is a hell of a lot about how he survived and how his ability works. I had speculated a lot previously about how the ability has kind of evolved, and it didn't really. He evolved, like his usage of Nen has evolved in Zetsu, but all we know now is more rules and restrictions that he has come to understand over testing over the last few weeks. So really exciting stuff. This kind of changes the playing field. Seridnich is out of the room and he's got big plans in mind. I cannot wait to see how this goes. Anytime I see a dude in a hoodie with glasses in the background, I know something's going to be going down. I'm going to be keeping my eyes out for this guy all over the place because he could be anywhere. This is such an awesome move to play writing wise. I love having Seridnich be mobile and not restricted by his guard team anymore. He's his own force. He is completely on his own at this very moment. My God, that is so damn exciting. He's a disgusting, despicable human being. I'm obviously not rooting for him, but dude, writing wise, this is an amazing play. I cannot wait to see what Togashi does with this. And regretfully, we only have 2 chapters left in the batch, so we probably won't really get to see anything actually. Because, I assume we're going to go back to Benjamin again, but I don't know. Dude, any chapter, we could be doing anything. Yes, this chapter was phenomenal. I just love everything that Togashi is doing right now. He is absolutely crushing it. What a chapter. And of course, as always, remember to check out my podcast, The Hunter Association, where I'll be talking about this for another 2 hours or so with guest Berserk Dude, a anime-manga YouTuber. So please check out the Hunter Association podcast if you want to hear me talk about this chapter even more and much more in depth.
Ridge Racer! Remember that one?
Hal Formula Chapter 10, The Hunter. Right after Hunter x Hunter. Funny how that works. This chapter was incredible. Oh my god, dude. I loved this. I love this dynamic between Miharu and Hinokura. It's just so cool. They both have like the same kind of energy, but they're just both constantly trying to one-up each other. And in a race, that's perfect because it is exactly that. It's about like, overtaking each other. Like a tight race, that's how it is. You just, one goes ahead of the other and so on and so forth. It's just an endless cycle of that. And it's portraying that in such a cool way with, of course, the visual metaphor and just the actual moves and thoughts behind the players, not players, the racers. It's just done so incredibly well. It's this mangaka's biggest strength by far is just portraying what it is like to participate in a sport. And in this case, it's racing. And my God, he's killing it. I also really enjoy this moment of Haruka realizing that like, damn, my brother's actually scary because he is. I mean, his play style or his racing style, whatever, is honestly terrifying. It's very much not the kind of guy that Miharu is outside of racing, but like when he gets in that car, he becomes a different person, at least now that he's evolved or broken past that mental barrier he had in chapter 1. I love this. I love the portrayal of it. It's so exciting and engaging. I just am in love with this shit. This is so cool. Cannot wait for more. I really can't wait to see how this race wraps up. I want to see like what the end of a race is like, what a real race is like in this series. This whole thing is going to tell us so much about the future of this series. And I'm kind of nervous. Something here fails or isn't as engaging as what it was before. You could risk faith in the series. Like I could lose faith. This is a make or break moment, but so far I'm enjoying every second of it. So I've got full faith. Something could shake it, but as of now, love it. Pretty much perfect. I can't imagine drawing a race any better than this. I haven't read Initial D, so I don't know what that's like, but I'm sure that's good too. Kagurabachi Chapter 129, Ironworks. Oh my god, guys, what the hell? This is ridiculous. I can't believe how good this chapter was. What? Holy hell. Like, are we serious? This is real? This was insane, man. Like, I don't say this shit lightly. I've had hot takes on Kagurabachi. I've had many. But this definitely won't be the case where I have a hot take because this was absolutely phenomenal. I don't even know if I can exactly find the words to describe what this chapter is like. It's kind of just something you gotta read because like from page 1 all the way to the end, it felt like the world around me didn't exist. I was just here. I was in Kagurabachi world. I get this feeling from time to time. Sometimes you just get so immersed and invested in something that you can't help but feel completely sucked in. Like nothing else around you matters. This is the story of life, which is a crazy thing to say out loud. Stories can feel that important at times if you really let yourself sink into it. And that word I just used, investment, I don't think that's really something I have in Kagurabachi, to be honest. There's been so many times where like lore stuff has gone over my head, character reintroductions went over my head, so many little things that just don't stick with me with this series. The investment for me in this series comes in its presentation, if that makes any sense. I may not be able to get into the lore per se, but I can get into the kind of story it's trying to tell me, and just the fact that it has unbelievably good presentation, and it's an incredibly well-made comic. It just looks and feels important in a way that is difficult to explain, really. Like, this manga just kind of feels important. And it's this little thing written by like a 21-year-old. He started when he was 19. It's such an impactful and impressive story. I can't wait to see Hokuzono's future. Like, what's he gonna do after Kagurabachi? He's such a remarkable talent, and this chapter is the perfect showcase of that. I know I'm not talking about the contents of the chapter a lot here. I'm sorry, I kind of just had a whole shitload of stuff to say about this one. I'll briefly talk about the events. It's just peak fiction. That's the events of the chapter. We have Kunishige continuing, hammering away, this very thing I've been talking about every week for the past, I don't know, month or however long we've been in this part of the story, where he's focused. He is doing this and he's not letting anything around him stop him. And this is a full chapter showcasing that. You see his drive, what is driving him, the panels showing the reflections of his past in his eyes, and then the hope panel of seeing Chiaki, telling us that he's doing this not only for the betterment of humanity, according to those around him, but also for her, to prove that he is worthy of her. And this is something that probably stems from a lot of self-worth problems. Like, I'm sure living the life that Kunishige did, he probably doesn't think too highly of himself. And even though we don't really see that outwardly at any point that I can recall, I'm sure it's something that is baked into his character, because his whole life he was pretty much told that he was maybe not worthless, I guess by his father, but then his mother, it's a whole different can of insults and things that was being thrown at him by her. It's a different brand of disrespect, I suppose. But this moment is what it's all about. It's like, this is what his life has been leading to, and I love that Shiba is right there at his back, propping him up the whole time. Everybody around him is literally burning and bleeding and he's still trucking along, defying the gods. You can see the gods getting angry. And whether that's figurative or literal doesn't really matter. This shit is happening. Oh my god. This is absolutely phenomenal. This might be one of the best chapters in the series. It's just, this is ridiculous. This series proves me wrong so often. I know I keep talking about it, but never forget the first chapter of this flashback. How negative I was, how dismissive I was about the idea of a flashback in Kagurabachi of this scale. I was wrong. This is incredible. And I should trust Okazono more. Wow. Unbelievable stuff.
Baby, I'm playing on you tonight.
Animal Signal Chapter 11, 30% of gibbons have fractured a bone. Well, this was a really nice little chapter. We have the introduction here of Leona Shido, and she's pretty cool. I like how she has a different outfit in like every panel she's in. It's, I guess, supposed to be just like different flashbacks, but it's really funny how she's constantly doing wardrobe changes. We get to learn a little bit more about Tsubasa, which is nice because we, pretty much hard focus on Kokone all the time. But over the last couple chapters, we've been getting a lot more of Tsubasa, which is nice. I mean, they're the main characters, so it's good to get more on both of them. And, the crux of this whole chapter just ends up being a misunderstanding. Kokone thinks he's like getting promoted and doesn't want him to be held back by her. So she tries to, talk him down, but it ends up not really being the case anyway. But it still leads to a really sweet moment where she reads his mind and sees that, no, he genuinely cares about her and wants to work together with her specifically. Very, very sweet. Nothing super substantial to say about it beyond that, but I just really enjoyed seeing her realize that, oh no, he really does care about this. This isn't just like putting on an act to make me feel better. It's real. I'm continuing to have a really good time with this series. Hope it sticks around. I think it's fun. Cannon Master Chapter 9, A New Enemy. Very cool chapter. This has gotten me all the way on board with this series. This is such a fun thing to introduce into the fold. We have real humanoid enemies, so I'm a little confused because we did have an explanation that there are like demons as well, like piloting the regoliths. Is that not the case? Was like Frank just wrong about that, or whoever told us about that? I don't even really remember. But regardless, it doesn't really matter ultimately. I don't know if I missed something or whatever, but these are regioids, right? Regloids? No. Regioids. The names in the series are very interesting. But all they are humanoid regoliths. They have similar powers, but they are just smaller, human-sized, which is cool because that means not all of the battles in the series will be kaiju battles. So that helps. I do love me some kaiju battles, but we need a mix. If you're gonna go all the way, you gotta also have our heroes with kaiju and mechs and shit, but they don't have that. And this also reveals to us that is a regioid, whatever, which makes a lot of sense. That definitely makes this story a lot more manageable, I think, because we basically immediately have answers to This isn't going to be like a long drawn out thing where you have to learn what is, where his powers come from. I mean, I'm sure there still is some mystery to him, like where did he come from, why is he siding with humans, whatever, all that. But we know what he is now, which is nice. We also have what I assume to be like a main villain introduction or an arc villain, however long the series lasts, who knows. And the design is pretty damn cool. Reminds me kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! With the eye. Like, it looks a lot like the Millennium Eye. But yeah, we're really getting the plot moving now. We have a serious conflict set up. We have a real enemy force with like intelligence behind it, not just big mindless kaiju. Hell yeah, this is looking really good. I'm having a great time. I hope this series sticks around because it has sauce, man. It's got the secret sauce. I really think this has staying power and there's a ton of potential for this one. So I'm rooting for it. This was really cool. Class 2B Hero Destroyerz Chapter 17, Slime times 8 equals King. I really loved this chapter. I just had a great time with it from start to finish. It was really funny. I love the stats stuff at the beginning where we get to see everybody's levels, realizing that Mr. Expendable is like the bulk of, I guess his name's Yakuza's levels. I didn't realize that his name was Yakuza, but sure. Akira's ass is level 82, that's peak, and Valaris, I guess, I don't know this Hello Kitty thing. I don't really know what that's referring to, but her stats are like not even stats. It's just like food icons. Maybe that's a Hello Kitty thing. I don't know. I'm not Hello Kitty pilled enough to understand that, I guess. But the part that made me laugh the hardest was this moment with Mogura, where he's just up on a tree warning them about this teleporter thing. If anybody messes with it, you'll get teleported to somewhere random. God knows where. It's killing me. I love this part so much. He's explaining this in the middle of his explanation. He falls off and breaks a pillar on it and activates it. It's such a stupid joke. It really shouldn't be as funny as it is, but it killed me. I'm still laughing about it now. It's just so good. I don't know, the presentation of it is perfect. He's stupid as fuck. Why am I laughing so hard at this? Throwing up while he's falling in the blurg speech bubble. I hate how funny I think this is. It's not that crazy. There's been funnier jokes in this manga, but this one just got me. I don't know why. Anyway, after that, they get teleported and now they're dealing with other shit. Slimes and dressing up as heroes, which is fun. And then we get the end with this tease of Vegeta. It literally looks like Vegeta's dad in particular with the cape. Or actually, it kind of looks like Paragus also. Just a Saiyan. I don't know. Maybe we're going to get a Saiyan. Maybe this actually could be like a Dragon Ball parody character, considering that we're using like Dragon Quest hero clothing, which is also Toriyama. But yeah, I love this chapter. I'm really excited to see where we go from here. Introducing another, like one of the legendary heroes is fun. Very funny. Actually killed me. I have half a mind to give it chapter of the week just because of how hard it made me laugh, but I can't do that, I don't think. Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi Chapter 105, DCB, Devil Clash Boys. I apologize, I am going to have to move kind of quickly because my camera is running out of battery again. I talked for far too long in this video, so unfortunately I'm running out of time. Sorry. This color page is really interesting. I know this is a reference to a movie poster, but I cannot put my finger on which movie. Somebody please tell me in the comments. I don't have time to look it up. I wish I could, but I know this is a reference to something. I just can't, I don't know what. So yeah, we have the introduction of the Devil Clash Boys, which is a really fun group who are now joining the investigation team. They do the whole thing. This series does this a lot, I've noticed, where it's like the whole rough exterior, but then they're actually nice. Like, they do this so often. It's becoming like a trope of its own. I guess I'm a little not disappointed by that. I don't know what to exactly say, but it's getting a little stale that we keep doing the same exact thing every arc, where there's some character who seems like they're a bad guy, but then it's a red herring and they're actually super chill and nice. I guess it's just the series shtick. I like these guys though. I think they'll be a fun addition to the crew here, but it's hard not to notice that this is becoming a trend. Really cool chapter though, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these characters play off of each other and how the mystery unravels. I know some of you in the comments were thinking that this would be the immediate solving of the mystery and this guy was it, but you fell for the bait. Look at you. I bet you feel dumb as hell. Fools. Drawn to the Fire, Chapter 18, Natsu and the Firefly Cage. Immediately starting off with the cool I-beam thing that I enjoy. And yeah, this chapter was pretty solid. We're out of that flashback that I didn't care about, and we're progressing the game, doing cooler plays. It's nice. It's pretty clean, man. I really like the way that basketball is drawn in this manga. I was really iffy about it at first, but I don't know if it's improved or I've just noticed it more. Either way, I'm loving it, and I do low-key kind of feel ending vibes. This might get axed. Like, I feel like we could spin this into being the final game if need be. But I don't know, I could be wrong, we'll see. This could just be a really strong game, and maybe this will bump up its popularity. I like it. I think it can stick around if Shueisha wants to take the risk. And this was a pretty solid chapter too. So, hey, I'm into it.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of...
Undercover Chapter 29, second best. Very sweet. I actually really liked this one. It did unfortunately remind me that Kusumi exists. I don't even know why he exists, really. What a worthless character this is. He's just here to play a bit part every once in a while, and then he goes away. Will he ever have any relevance again? God knows. It's second to last on the TOC, so I really don't know how long this series will last. Beyond that, though, we just get some cute moments with Shuli and the rest of the cast, and of course with Haiji, where Haiji opens up about his own past and helps him study to become the second best doctor, which I think is so sweet. It's Shuli, admitting that you're the best doctor ever. I'm going to become the second best. So cute. I thought that was really nice, and yeah, this chapter is again more in line with the Underdoctor that I like. So good shit. Glad to see more stuff like this from the series, and I hope it sticks around even more. Let's not go back to a battle shonen, please. Nobody will even notice. Kinato's Magic final chapter, Kinato's letter. Bizarre. Now listen, I know I've been saying like I could see the series ending soon these past few weeks, but it still feels to me like they got the notice of, wrap it up like yesterday. Like the day before they submitted this chapter, they were told you have to end it. Obviously that is not literally the case, but my God, does it feel like it. We just hastily wrap up the conflict we were in, and then we're hit with a few months later time skip. And then we see Kinato using Pokeballs? What? Why do they look like Pokeballs? I don't even think they capture anything. They're just weighted balls, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, dude. This is just so weird as a final chapter. I don't understand. What happened here? I saw this coming. Of course this series was going to get axed at some point, but I thought it would be a little more ceremonious than this. Yeah, I don't know. This was not a great final chapter. It just hit us with one of those adventure continues final chapters. That's all we got. And I guess that's to be expected for something like this. I mean, it is like an adventure manga, so yeah, the adventure continues is suitable for it. It's one of the like 3 brands of endings you can get for an X. But my God, this one just felt so unceremonious. Like nothing wrapped up. There's still loose plot threads, I'm pretty sure, that just are not addressed at all. It's so weird, man. This one is just truly, truly bizarre to me. It's hard for me to even put into words how weird this feels as a final chapter. It just feels like there was some kind of mistake. I don't know. I really don't have much to say. I hate that. I mean, I can tell you about my overall thoughts on the series, I guess, since it's over, which is still weird to say. I thought it was okay. Like, I'm not gonna be writing home to my family about this one, but it's serviceable. It had fun moments, some fun characters, an interesting power set at first, which turned into just Deku, which is a shame. I just feel like it had an identity crisis and it didn't really know what it wanted to be at any time. It leaned too far into like ecchi fan service stuff for my liking. I wasn't into that by any means, and it was always so random when it was placed. But I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good either, it was just somewhere in between. It was like a perfectly okay manga. I don't know. I have no strong feelings about this one. It's a very strange series that I will probably forget very soon. I can't say I'll never forget it because that is just not true. It has no place in my heart, that's for sure. I don't know. Thanks for something, Kinato. I hope the mangaka can make something. I know they've tried again. There was Shadow Eliminators first, which I thought was dog shit. So at least this was improvement, Gradual improvement is good. Maybe he'll come back a third time and blow it out of the park. We'll see. Alright guys, that's going to do it for Weekly Shonen Jump 2026, issue number 39. I'm going to wrap this up very quickly because I have 8% left on my camera. Holy shit. Alright, let's go. It was actually a pretty solid issue. I liked most of the chapters within it. I had a really good time, laughed really hard. A lot of hype moments, a lot of really exciting developments and stuff. So this was a very solid issue in my eyes. Great one to come back to. But as always, one chapter did stand out amongst the rest. And of course, I think if you heard my immense glaze, you will already know that it is Kagurabachi Chapter 129, Ironworks. Just an unbelievable chapter. And listen, I am not a Kagurabachi glazer. You guys know this. So that means that this chapter was genuinely fantastic. Through and through, just an incredible read, incredibly well-made chapter. I loved it. That's all I got for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts on this issue. Let me know your chapter of the week, your least favorite chapter of the week, or anything else you'd like to tell me about from this issue. And of course, remember, you can also become a channel member at 3 tiers. You can click the join button to see what tier works best for you. You get things like emotes, early access to new videos, exclusive monthly videos, your name in the credits, and if you join at the highest tier, you'll get your name read out loud right now. So thank you to DJ Tengen, Milu Kitty, Braden Farrell, Halfpipe, Rafker, The Cosmer64, Cosmic, Key to the Skies, Iliadis, Noobs Rock, Dan, The World's Worst, Menacing Pigeon, Papa Aeon, Gaming Anime Addict, BNE, Rocket Bacon, A the Seller, and Robin Azumaril. Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in whatever you decide to watch next. Take it easy, guys. Animal Signal Chapter 11, 30% of gibbons have fractured... Animal Signal Chapter 11, 30% of gibbons have fractured... Animal Signal Chapter 11, Animal Frigdo...